Let's talk mutton snappers and wire leaders. Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Okay, first, I'm honored to be on Sport Fishing Magazine's 2019 list of top charter boat captains in the United States. So I would appreciate your vote. You can visit sportfishingmagazine.com/top-captain/ and I'll put the link up in my show notes. So what happens now, there's a 30 days for voting. And after 30 days, they'll calculate they'll tally all the boats, and then they'll take the top five for to be recognized in their magazine and featured and all that good stuff. So, but anyways, if you guys, I would really appreciate your vote. Let's get on with the fishing stuff. Okay. So I want to talk about mutton snappers and wire leaders. I do not like wire leaders for mutton snapper fishing. Now I'm saying wire, like single strand and all that other stuff that's out there. And I'm not a big fan of that theory about how wire blends in on the bottom. I'm really not. I could go into the science behind it, but I'm not going to right now. So that theory's been out there forever, and it's, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just not a fan of that theory, and everybody has their own thoughts and opinions when it comes to targeting mutton snappers with wire. But a couple things with wire, what I've seen is that when you're bottom fishing, that stuff's you hook a big mutton that's 20-some pounds, and you hook him from depths of 200 feet, that thing's going to be shaking its head, and wire kinks, man, especially light wire. And you're going to break, 9 times out of 10, if you're fishing with a single hook, you're going to break him off, because I've seen it, because I've caught numerous groupers trolling live bait on the bottom with goggle eyes with wire. Yes. So there's a time and place. Now, I didn't say that I didn't use wire for targeting groupers. I do with live bait. I put a big goggle eye on the bottom, and I put a stinger rig on it, and I troll the bottom with live goggle eyes, and that crushes them. That crushes big black groupers. And when the red grouper season's open, that is candy for a big red grouper. A nice goggle eye, a wire rig, deep water, them groupers do not care. So I've got, if you guys go back through and look at the pictures of those big red groupers I caught, 9 out of 10 of those big red groupers were caught with live goggle eyes, number 7 wire, rigged with a stinger rig. That's how I targeted them. So there you guys go. Another little tip for you guys. But red grouper season's closed, so you're going to have to wait until next year for that. They closed it early. They do that for a reason, because the red groupers move in this time of year, and they're here, and they move in a little earlier and spawn a little earlier than blacks, I do believe. But anyway, so I'm not even going to get into those fish because the season's closed. But if you're looking to target big black groupers and you can get a hold of some, and you got some extra goggle eyes left over from sail fishing, get yourself in on those ledges where those black groupers are at and troll the bottom with wire rig goggle eyes, and then watch what happens. Make sure you got a guy on the rod that's ready to get that fish out of his hole, because they're quick, man. I was watching some underwater videos the other day of red groupers coming out of their holes and then moving back in really quick. I was like, damn, those fish are fast. Holy cow. And I say holy cow a lot because I grew up watching the Cubs on WGN with Harry Carey. And that's all he said. So my house had a lot of baseball on when I was growing up, because I played baseball and I like watching the Cubs. I'm not a Cubs. I mean, I like the Cubs. I'm a Cardinals fan. So, but I grew up, and holy cow is like, I don't know why that like sticks with me. I still say that all the time. So when you hear me say holy cow, it goes back to watching Harry Carey when he was half drunk on WGN ripping on the Cubs when somebody finally had a good play or something. He was like, holy cow. So anyways, that's the story on that one when I say holy cow. Okay. So part of the reason why I'm doing this podcast is that all the kingfish are going to show back up, and you guys that are targeting mutton snappers live bait, especially live bait like pilchards and cigar minnows and all that good stuff. You guys are going to get bit off a lot more now than you were earlier in the season because it's that time of year. So here's what I do. I rig titanium leaders. I rig short pieces. I think I use 10, really short. I think 6 to 10 inch pieces of titanium because titanium has stretch, and when you put it side by side with single strand in the water, it does blend in a little bit more, and it's just a little thinner, and mainly because it has stretch. So when the fish hits it and eats it, the mutton snapper stays connected. And I want to be honest with you, it was like a couple years ago, it was right after Irma, when not many people were fishing. We had loads of fish down here. It was easy fishing because we didn't have any boat pressure, and the muttons were everywhere, but so were the kingfish. The kingfish were thick. So finally, I just got sick of it, and I started experimenting a little bit. And what I found was with the wire, with number 6, number 4 single strand, no way, man. I won't use it again when I target muttons because the amount of hooks that I pulled and kinked fish, I'm sorry, not kingfish, but kink leaders, and I lost numerous muttons. So I made the switch to a titanium leader, the AFW 30 pound, and I use circle hooks still. And it works like a charm when it comes to mutton snappers in deeper water. But I'm still not a fan of it. I just don't like to use this stuff. But as a captain, I have to catch fish for people. And if I'm consistently starting to get cut off, and then I immediately go to my titanium leaders. And what happens, how I rig the titanium is, like I said, I use short pieces of titanium. The bait seems to swim really nice on titanium leaders compared to single strand, so you don't lose the action. You tend to lose the action when you use single strand wire. I just don't like the way the fish swims, and I just don't like that stuff when it comes to targeting mutton snappers. And AFW makes a great titanium leader. I think that they probably make the best. Don't buy any of the other generic, anything that's like generic from Walmart that's not AFW. Don't buy it. I've tried it. It doesn't work very well. So stick with the AFW. Spend a little bit of money on it. It works very well. Now I really start using titanium here probably around the full moon in November. That's usually when there's all the kingfish show up. And they're here thick. They're here now. Lots of kingfish, and they're just in deeper water right now. And I catch a lot of kingfish while I'm mutton snapper fishing. A lot, more so than I even want to talk about. There's just so many of them. But it's a lot of fun for my clients to catch them. We catch some really big ones on the bottom, and you're fishing anywhere at 140 out to 300 feet. You catch some big ass kingfish on the bottom, mixed in with the mutton snappers, and you can kind of tell on your sonar, I'm like, okay, here come the kings, get ready. And that's what happens. So one thing cool about titanium, though, is that I do catch a lot more nice blackfin tunas than I catch when I use short pieces when I use wire, like a single strand wire. I just didn't see that when I was trialing out the single strand. But when I switched to titanium, I caught a lot of nice big blackfin tunas. And there's times when I'm like, okay, if I'm on a half and I got some, and I know that we might be able to go get some blackfins and some kings just to kind of mix up the day. We'll go out and I'll use the titanium leaders with and I'll stage those on the downriggers and put pilchards on them, and we'll catch some nice kings and we'll catch some nice blackfins. Titanium works really well. I mean, the stuff works great. I've caught numerous big blackfin tunas using titanium leaders in the fall and winter. In the summer, I've had summers, a couple summers ago when there was no dolphin, I did a ton of bottom fishing, and I caught everything on titanium. So just the kings, the Wahoo, I shouldn't say that. I have honestly never caught a Wahoo on titanium leader. I've hooked several Wahoo on titanium leader, and every Wahoo I've hooked on titanium leader has been cut. Every Wahoo I've hooked on titanium leader has been cut. So the fish, especially that 30-pound titanium, I am not a fan of. This goes back I want to say 2 years ago when I started using titanium. I was having awesome luck with kingfish, awesome luck with muttons on the bottom. And I was like, oh my God, I found the wonder titanium. I found the wonder thing, I've called it. So, but the Wahoo, they slice right through that stuff. And that's the truth. I see a lot of guys in seminars now are saying, oh, you got to use titanium on your kite reels and kite rods, and because it has stretch and stealth. Man, no way in hell am I ever going to target Wahoo using titanium after what I've seen. Now, you have to remember, when I'm live bait fishing for Wahoo, I am live bait fishing for Wahoo, not sailfish. Okay? Not sailfish. I am looking for meat fish. I am looking for kingfish, and I am looking for Wahoo. Now, dolphin will occasionally, plow into a goggle eye in the wintertime or a speedo, but the hookup rates kind of suck with those larger baits and wire when it comes to dolphin because they tend to throw it. They do. It's just tough to hook unless they swallow it. So, but like I said, it would be great to catch them, but usually when I'm Wahoo fishing with live bait, I know that the Wahoo are there, and that's what we're looking for. So I stay 100% focused on Wahoo. And you have to be when you're looking for a target species, just like the guys that are into the sail fishing stuff. I love sail fishing. When it's time to go after sailfish, and I have a client that's what he wants, and he could give a shit less about a Wahoo, and I get a lot of those guys. They don't care. They're in for the sport. I think it's great. I love it when people want to target certain fish, and if we're getting bit off, we're getting bit off. We just bring it in and retie it and go. But sailfish are tough to catch on wire, so a lot of guys use titanium because of the stretch, and it gives them a little bit more confidence when a Wahoo eats his bait that they have it on there. But I don't know. You guys go back through and look and see. I've had days where I've had to drop the wire and go to 100% fluorocarbon with big circle hooks. And, I do have that discussion with the clients. I'm like, okay, so if we're going to go after Wahoo, we have to be wired up, or there's going to have to be, if I know that they're there and I'm marking they're not eating, then we got to go with the large number 9s, number 8 circle hooks. So I use Gamakatsus or owners. And we've caught numerous Wahoos on those big circle hooks. They just have enough little bit of chafe protection. You get them hooked in the corner of the mouth, and you get the right pressure on them, you're going to catch them. But you got to get them hooked right in the scissors, I call them. Right in the. I've got a video I'll show you. I'll put it up on my show notes so you guys can take a look at the video. I think I've got a couple videos of Wahoos with circle hooks in the corner of their mouths. And I've also got videos of how Wahoo eat stinger rigs. As far as how I tie titanium leader, I basically just follow the instructions on the back of the AFW package. But the secret is to find in a small piece of heat shrink and then sliding it over the leader. And that helps to keep the titanium knot in place. And it also gives you a little chafe protection as well from toothy critters. So a good example of that, if you guys want to see what one looks like, I would suggest ordering like a 2-pack from R&R Tackle, and then you can see exactly how they rig it. This is their. I'll post a picture in my show notes, but this is the pictures that I'm going to post is exactly how I rig my titanium and how I heat shrink it. So he's got the R&R has a little piece of heat shrink on there as well up at the terminal end by the little Spro swivel that he has on here. I would use, they have their Spro swivels are really small. I would use an 80-pound Spro. Why use an 80-pound? Because I've seen 50-pound Spro swivels snap on me several times. So that's why I use 80-pound. Spro swivels and not 50-pound. That's the only reason. But okay, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please give me a follow on Instagram at goodkarmasportfishing_FL_keys. Please make sure you vote for me on sportfishingmagazine.com's top charter boat captain for 2019. I would appreciate your vote. Visit my website at goodkarmasportfishing.com. And I think I mentioned this in my tackle tip last week, but I have a new page on my website for those that are looking for hotels in the Florida Keys. It's an awesome page that I created to where I listed several hotels with all different price ranges for you guys all in one page. So there's hotels for every budget, and I also listed the hotels ranking based on different review sites. So again, that's on my hotels page on my website. That's www.goodkarmasportfishing.com. And I think that's it. Stay tuned here. I think I'm going to I'm going to release my tackle tip on Saturday. It's been kind of a challenge to release 2 podcasts back to back because I do want to get the level of detail and get some videos up there for you guys when it comes to tackle tips. So the tackle tip more than likely won't be released on Thursdays. It might come out on Thursdays, but look for it between Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. But it'll be there. That I promise. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.